Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting, January 6, 2015, first meeting of the new year. Roll call, please.
All 5 selectmen are present this evening, as well as town council and the town administrator.
Announcements. Mr. Titlebaum. Mrs. Whiteside.
Happy New Year.
Mr. Holmes. Any announcements?
Oh, I do have one.
No, I just want
Hold on a
to,
second. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Okay, I just want to note the passing of Edward Brooke, who was the first black in U.S. history to win popular election to the Senate from Massachusetts. He died at the age of 95 on Saturday.
Yep. Mr. Holmes.
No, I just want to wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year. And I just was heading over the bridge. As you can tell, I'm a little under the weather, and there was already an accident on the bridge. That's where I got stuck over there. About 4 miles of traffic, and just here we go with the snow, and just try to be careful. And remember, with the cold weather, and not to check your heat outlets in your houses, and make sure that there's nothing blocking those outlets, those vents. And please remember to check on your neighbor over the next few days. Thank you.
Mr. Tropiano.
No, I'm all set, thanks.
Okay, here we go. First up, Manuel Silva Jr., who is 92, passed away on December 30th. He was basically, I'll read everything off here. He was the husband of the late M. Claire Cunningham. He was born in New Bedford, son of the late Manuel and Jay and Mary. He graduated from Dartmouth High School, attended Northeastern University, my alma mater. He was the town accountant for 27 years. He also served as town accountant for the towns of Carver and Marshfield. Mr. Silva also served as a selectman for the town of Wareham from 1989 to 1995. And he also was a veteran, served in the U.S. Army from 43 to 46, member of the American Legion Post number 220 in Wareham, and also was a member of the new Wareham and New Bedford Combination Lodge of the Elks number 73. Next, Commonwealth of Massachusetts Division of Marine Fisheries. They do this every year at certain times in accordance with Chapter 130, Section 74A, Massachusetts General Laws. The Division of Marine Fisheries has re-examined the waters of Wareham in the town of Wareham. Classified as conditionally approved in a closed status. As a result of examination, the division has determined that the area's BB 36-14 now meets the established criteria for the harvest of shellfish and has changed the status to open to shellfishing. The area in question is basically from January 1st to April 30th. It's Tempest Knob, the water flats and tributaries of that portion of the Wareham River in the town of Wareham. Also, they've got another one, which I think I've got here. Is the Muddy Cove also has been open for the same time frame. So they've been closed most of the year, so they're open for a while. Most likely on April 1st they'll get closed again, but we got a shot for a while.
All set?
And last thing, Mr. White has his coffee hour back at the Agawam Village Community Room at 57 Sandwich Road on Thursday at 9 o'clock. His guest is Rebecca Claver, a freshman at UMass Amherst. She's lived through several military deployments of her father to the Middle East. And she's going to basically talk about a chance to visit with a young member of a family left behind. That's it for me.
All right, next up, citizens' participation. Anybody here to speak to the board tonight? Come on down.
I have vacation for a while.
Good
Yeah,
evening.
but this is the state of open.
My name is Sandra Lee Foss Slavin. My sister and I cleaned up my mother's house after our stepfather, John Kalinosi, recently passed. My sister and I would like to offer this to the town of Wareham. If I can get through it. My mother, Ruth Loring Foss Kalinosi, lived in this town for a long time, and so did a lot of the Lorings before her. She graduated from high school in this building in 1933. She went on to get a nursing degree from St. Luke's and served in the Army during World War II in Puerto Rico and Fort Benning. This was the flag that draped her coffin when we buried her 15 years ago. She loved this town. Every time we were deployed to some other place in the world, we always came back to Wareham to see family and friends. My sister and I would be honored if the town would accept this flag in her name and someday fly it on the flagstaff over the memorial and between the two buildings. Please?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, we would be honored to accept it and to fly it.
Thank you very much.
You should stand up.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next up, we're going to take the things a little bit out of order. We have an appointment, Wendy C. Young. Is Wendy here?
Yes.
Come on down, Wendy. She's, wants to be appointed to the Library Board of Trustees.
She actually has been at a whole lot of meetings, even though she hasn't been appointed yet, so she's shown a great deal of interest.
Anybody have any questions for her?
No, but thank you for your interest in serving the town.
Graduate of Wareham High School. Why don't you just,
If you could just explain
Just- yeah.
who and what.
some of us know you, some of you don't. Okay.
We won't buy that promise.
I've been going to the library at least once a week ever since I was in middle school, and my parents brought me every time before that. And the library means a lot to me, and now that I'm older, I'd like to do what I can to help the library in return, and help the other kids who want to go to the library all the time and make sure they can.
Ms. Titlebaum, any questions?
No, just as I said before, thank you for your interest in serving the town.
Mrs. Whiteside?
Just want to say that it's really encouraging to see somebody who's less than 30 years old volunteering on behalf of the town. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Wendy.
I do have a question for Selectman Whiteside.
Yeah.
Is this one of your former students? No? I was going to offer your condolences had you been.
Mr.
Oh,
Holmes?
wow.
Mr. Holmes?
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Happy New Year.
All
She's
set?
leaving, she's
I
leaving.
move, you all set? We're all set?
You.
Thank you very much.
I move we appoint Wendy C. Young of 4 9th Street, Onset, Mass., to a term on the Library Board of Trustees to expire no later than June 30th, 2017.
Second.
Any questions? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500. Thank you very much. You probably will pick up your paperwork sometime tomorrow at the Selectman's office.
Okay, next I have a change of hours for Wines and More. Now, let's see if I can figure out what hours you used to have and what they changed to. I think this is typically that whole Sunday thing, right?
Yes, it's that changeover that was allowed for the extra hour.
Okay, so I move that we change the hours of Wines and More to Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Is that
Second.
correct?
That's fine. What happened is, in the wintertime, we go to 9 o'clock, and when our new license came in, it said 9 o'clock, so when we switched back to 10,
Yeah, there was
we
a,
were questioning whether or not we were allowed to stay open.
yep, there was a glitch.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to skip over the hearing because it's not quite time yet, and we're going to go to the McDonald's change of ownership.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so P&D Management Group 3. All right, so this is kind of interesting because the name change isn't really
That much.
that much. It goes, they basically added a 3 to the end. All right, so what McDonald's is doing is changing from P&D Management Group to P&D Management Group 3. And that has something to do with the way they do their things. So I move we approve the change in management, change in, and approve the new common vic under P&D Management Group 3 LLC, DBA McDonald's.
I'll second it. And again, it's just a change in the name. It's not a change in anything else, right?
No.
Thank you.
Correct.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions from the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 500.
Okay. Now, we're gonna have to keep going. So CETA update we have, now, I guess,
They will,
Nobody's-
I have to reschedule that because
Okay.
Mrs. Connaughton is away, and there was two other members who were gonna try and come, and they're also, one's out of town and one couldn't make it. So
Okay.
I'll schedule it for a week or 2 weeks from now.
all right, so.
I saw Mr. Pina 2 hours ago, and he said he was
Yes.
coming.
Mrs. Connaughton sent me an email telling Sal that we would reschedule.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next is to discuss the joint meeting with the school committee and finance committee on the 2016 budget.
Yeah, this is just a change of hours.
There's that's a change of hours only, yeah.
What we have is we've been trying to put together a meeting with the school committee, finance committee, and the board of selectmen for the budget for 2016. I haven't had a lot of success putting it together. I've been trying off and on for the last couple of months. I've asked Mr. Sullivan to get a hold of the school superintendent, who originally was going to put together what we call a first meeting for an agenda for us, and has not happened. He's working on it now, so hopefully in the next week or so, we'll have something put together, unless you have any more information, Derek.
The school, I was going to do this as part of the TA report, but the school tomorrow night at their meeting will be releasing their preliminary FY16 budget number. So that'd be for the net and non-net. We still will need to meet multiple times, as obviously we've had no magic bullet so far, so.
Okay.
May I?
So they have not submitted the budget on the January 5th date to you?
No, they did, but however, out of respect, it's, the timing with their school committee meeting is tomorrow night, and I think it should be, that should be them that bring it forward.
Just as
I
long-
have received it within, and I appreciate their work. It was a change for them, and it moved it up a little bit, so I appreciate their hard work.
May I?
This is Whiteside.
I attended an all-day session with the school committee and the budget presentations by each of the principals of the schools and, no, not the transportation director, but other heads of important things. The school had presented a level service budget, not a level funding budget. And I have to tell you that when I left, it was an all-day affair, and they were very good presentations, but the difference between what we hoped that they would come in at and what maybe they should be coming in at was a fairly large difference.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, it's 7:15. I want to open a hearing. We have a hearing for a transfer of an all-alcoholic license. And I move that we open the hearing.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mr. Holmes. Go ahead.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Obviously.
Okay.
500.
All right, so this is Piper Bowes, and this is going to, they're changing, somebody's bought it, obviously, and it's going to be boy, this is good.
Mariachi.
El Mariachi, I get that part, that's the DBA, but the company's name is El Tulensi, Inc.
We're actually transferring the liquor license. They're not buying,
Yes.
they're leasing the buildings.
Yeah, well, whatever, we're transferring the liquor license to a new entity.
Correct.
DBA El Machi. El Mariachi? Yes. Is that how you say it? Come on down. Come sit down.
Well,
They can come down, right?
absolutely, that's what they're here for.
Yeah.
If you would like to spend a few minutes explaining, I've been to your restaurant in Taunton, so I know the restaurant and stuff. I'm happy to see you
See, we're
people come to
making
town.
We're making it easy for you. Now
You're
you
making
don't
it-
have to go to town. You gotta just go here.
Way too easy. Again, thank you for considering Wareham. This, I think, is your fourth restaurant now?
Fifth.
Fifth, sorry, I'm one behind. If
Could you
like-
identify yourselves for the record, please? Your names?
Muhammad Mabruk. Jose J. Lopez.
Thank you. you want to explain what you're going to be doing for the restaurants so the public will know what's coming? Because I'm not sure everybody knows who you are.
Basically advertising. Obviously, we know that the peak is going to be summertime. In the meantime, we're doing what you call cosmetic, just making things. I know it's a restaurant before. We're just making things Mexican look, like the coloring and all the stuff. It's not like major construction.
Yep.
It's just cosmetic. And there's going to be obviously a restaurant, so with ethnic food, obviously.
Any questions from the board at all? Mr. Titlebaum?
You know, this has been vacant for a while since Piper closed up, and it's nice to have a vacant building filled, obviously. It'll be nice to get a good Mexican restaurant in town as well, so we appreciate you coming to Wareham.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Whiteside?
Mr. Lopez, would you be the manager?
Yeah.
Thank you. Is it proper to ask how good a margarita you make?
You'll have all the tips, training, and stuff in place before opening as well. Mr. Holmes?
Yeah, good evening, thank you, and welcome to Wareham. This is my third swing at this license. And the first two I kind of swung and missed. So when Mr. Slavin talked about what were your plans for the restaurant, I don't think he meant cosmetically inside. Could you explain to us what style of restaurant this is? Is there a bar component to this? Will there be music, bands, and that sort of thing, or is this just more of a quaint Mexican restaurant? If you could talk about that, I think that's what he was asking.
Basically, just music, and the sluggers he had before, they were runners. They didn't know how to fall and they get up again. So hopefully this one here, we try to get up and work on it. And it's really, it's not too much structures, not too much, because it's very hard to have a small town and you come in and you change the whole outlook. It's you know, it's outrageous. So basically, everything is going to be the same. The only difference, if you have been in Town or Easton or any one of these restaurants, it's going to be the same, except just a small distance. That's about it.
And in terms of the music that you mentioned, this is, what type of music is this?
Public, whatever the public they want.
Public wants.
The public?
Yes, I'm sorry.
But it's not going to be, well, here's the thing. I welcome you, I'm glad you're there. But we got a lot of complaints, and my brother knows that over there. And I'd really like you to focus on that. There were a lot of 1 a.m., 2 a.m. people going out in the back, in the back of the buildings, and being a little destructive at times. We got complaints about people doing things they shouldn't do outside by the jug, the liquor store on the corner there. So what I'm asking you is to work with your neighbors there, especially when it comes to the music and the noise and people leaving at that late hour, right? And let's try, because I really think that, like I say, I've done this is my third swing at this license. And the first two I supported, and I support this one. But then in the end, I started getting all these phone calls and emails, as did some of the other members here maybe, and the police, obviously. So we want to knock that element out. So if you guys could really focus on that, and if you have issues, we're here to help you.
It's not that we're going to focus on, it's already been focused on. It's a family restaurant, and you like to hear the next person what they're saying. Far as it goes, the outside, in technicality, present what's inside.
Okay.
So it's totally different environment.
Right, and that's what I was trying to get to, so that people know that, going into this venture, you're already addressing that on your end, and we're obviously focused it on our end. And I will ask you about the menu because I have a very weak stomach. I don't drink margaritas. But you will have food there that's not hot, spicy, piquant.
No.
No, some with no piquant, right?
As I said, it's we might do different things for maybe.
Here comes the restaurant. Here comes the menu.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. I can't eat that spicy stuff because that's no good.
It's okay.
But I've always enjoyed that building. I think that's a
The
great
menu,
building
we
going
always
back many
listen
years.
to what the majority of the people
Yeah.
says.
Well, I wish you a lot of luck. And if there's
Thank you.
anything you need, right, you come to the town hall and see Derek, Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you.
And we will help you as much as we can to make you successful. So don't feel that you can't come to us and ask us questions or ask us for help, because that's what we're here for.
Thank you.
Okay? And good luck.
Thank you.
I can find a couple dishes here to kill you.
You do? Hey, yeah, I don't go for that piquant stuff too much. That's no good.
When he shows up, make sure you give him
Especially when
extra.
they have the
I'm all
three,
set, Alan.
the three peppers on the bottom. That kills me. Wow.
Anything for you?
No,
See?
Thank
He
you.
knows what helps.
Huh?
we're
He
all,
knows what helps.
we're all set
Oh,
here.
Peter?
Any questions?
Are you a Mexican? You eat Mexican food?
yeah.
Oh, you do?
Okay.
As I said,
This is,
Picante, yeah.
no other questions? Mr. Tropiano, go ahead, please.
this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for the licensee? I am. Okay. What do you have to say? Okay. All right. Is there anybody here to speak against the licensee? Seeing none, I'll ask permission to close the hearing.
But just for the record, that was Mr. Barrows speaking in favor of the license.
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
I move that we approve the annual common particular all alcoholic beverage license for El Talencia Inc., DBA El Machio, Mexican Restaurant, 207 Main Street,
Macho,
Wareham,
that's a
Mass.
fight every night.
Yeah. Manager El Mariachi, yeah, okay. Jose J. Lopez.
Second.
Any questions from the board?
There's more to it than that.
Do you have the
There's
hours and
additional,
stuff?
will
If there are
be separate
additional-
votes, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, I was just gonna say there's two or three votes.
there are 3 votes necessary, sir.
You got the alcohol,
Which is
the
actually-
victuals,
I'm sorry.
and the entertainment.
You have 3 licenses.
Yeah.
Right, this is just
Right.
the alcohol.
This is just the alcohol.
Okay, so
should be
the
other
second
ones, too.
one would be the public amusement license.
Yeah, but that doesn't require the public hearing, so we need to do this first, right?
Right.
We're just
Okay.
handling the public hearing right this minute.
Okay.
Piece of
We
the time.
closed it
Okay.
already.
It's a
We
piece
did-
of puzzle.
We closed it.
We've already closed the hearing.
We've already
Okay,
closed
so
it.
now we
Right
just
down
made a motion, and we need to
And we
vote
got a
on the
second?
license.
I seconded.
Okay, we're voting on this now, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstained?
All right,
500.
now,
Now we can roll on to number 2.
now we can roll on to number 2. Let me borrow this finally. All right, let's see. Oh, they had a pledge?
No.
No, they,
Read this one.
okay. Public amusement license on weekdays for live entertainment under the provisions of Chapter 140 Massachusetts General Laws.
Move to grant
Second.
Any
to
questions by the board?
El Tulance, DBA El Mariachi.
No picante.
Actually, the band's name is El Mariachi.
Okay. All those in favor?
But
Aye.
if they come in, that's another thing too. It might be,
It's okay. Opposed? Abstained? 500.
Then I move that we do the public entertainment for Sunday license for live entertainment under the provisions of Chapter 136 of the Massachusetts General Laws.
Second.
Any questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500.
And that's it, right?
Welcome.
set.
Welcome
All
to
right,
Wareham.
thank you.
I don't see those little
The
peppers on
licenses should be
bottom.
available in the selectman's office tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Do you have a date of opening yet?
Did I have to, either one of us or somebody can come pick it up?
Anyone? can
Right.
pick it
Yes,
up.
anybody.
When are you looking to open?
Hopefully, within a month and a half, 2 months.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay. Thank you. All right, now we need to vote to establish the timeframe for for the annual spring town meeting. And because I don't have my glasses, and because this is long-winded.
You want me to do
I'm
it?
gonna give this to my speed reader down here, the official board speed reader. and he can read that motion.
Before we go
Oh, yeah.
to do the annual town meeting, all the paperwork, I just want to explain to everybody that the way the dates are set up, having to use the April 1st, the particular day to start that we have by our charter and bylaws, the dates are quite tight. And the closing of, as we're going to read, the closing of submitting of articles is basically, except for citizen petition, is February 2nd, just as an idea. So this is something that we tend to be very lax. We get through town meeting, and we kind of forget about the next town meeting, which we think is like 6 months away.
It's really
And
not.
it's really about 2 or 3 months away to start working on it. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are under the gun, and they're not going to get things done in time. But we have to follow the rules. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, Town of Wareham, 54 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass. 02571, notice 2015 Annual Springtown Meeting, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Plymouth, SS, to the elected constable in the Town of Wareham. Greetings in the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in accordance with the provisions of Division 1, Article 1, Section 3 of the bylaws of the Town of Wareham amended. You are hereby directed to notify and warn the legal voters of the Town of Wareham that an annual town meeting has been called by the Board of Selectmen to be held at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, April 6, 2015. For the election of officers, and to be adjourned until 7 p.m. on Monday, April 27th, 2015, at which time the general business of the town meeting shall be transacted. The last day for submission of citizens petitioned articles for insertion in the warrant is 5 p.m. Thursday, February 12th, 2015. The warrant for this meeting will close on Tuesday, February 17th, 2015. And you are hereby directed to serve this notice by posting attested copies thereof in at least one public place in each precinct within the town on or before Friday, February 6, 2015. Hereof fail not, and make due return of this posting with your doings thereon to the town clerk. Given under our hands the 6th day of January in the year 2015, Wareham Board of Selectmen, Alan H. Slavin, Chairman, Patrick G. Tropiano, Clerk, Stephen M. Holmes, Peter W. Titlebaum, Judith Whiteside.
Second.
Any questions on the board? None heard, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, 5-0-0.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, next, if you'd like me to read the process for calling the 2015 Spring Annual Town Meeting into the record, I can do that.
Please do that.
I'll go a little slower with this one because these are the dates people need to understand. This process for calling the 2015 Spring Annual Town Meeting. This consists of the April 6th elections and the April 27th, 2015 general business portion of the meeting. On Tuesday, January 6, 2015, Board of Selectmen should establish all dates for completion of a warrant for the annual town meeting. That's what we're doing right here. Monday, February 2nd, 2015, last day to submit all articles except for citizens petition articles to be inserted in the warrant. This means the town side articles, the ones from the department heads, the ones from the selectmen, the ones from the town administrator. Friday, February 6, 2015, last day to post in at least one public place in each precinct notice of intention of Board of Selectmen to call the annual town meeting for April 6, 2015. This is per bylaw Division 1, Article 1, Section 3. 10 days notice by posting in precincts before the warrant closes. Thursday, February 12, 2015. This is the last day to submit citizens petition articles and all other articles to be inserted in the warrant. This is the Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4C, which requires this be done 45 days before the town meeting convenes. And again, town meeting, as we finally buttoned down, starts with Article 1, which is actually the election. It's not the day that town meeting in the sense of everybody showing up at the high school auditorium meets. It's the election is the day from which we count back. Tuesday, February 17th, 2015, the Board of Selectmen should officially close the warrant. Friday, February 20th, 2015, the last day to post in each precinct and deliver a copy of the warrant to the town moderator and to the chairman of each committee established by Section 2-5 of the Wareham Home Rule Charter. And that has to be done pursuant to the Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4D, within 3 days of closing of the warrant. Tuesday, February 24th, 2015, last day to submit to the Finance Committee articles included in the warrant. This is pursuant to Bylaw Division 1, Article 1, Section 1. No later than 35 days before town meeting convenes. This is to give the Finance Committee time to schedule hearings and to analyze the articles, make their recommendations to town meeting. Thursday, March 12th, 2015, is the last day to publish the entire warrant in a local newspaper. Publication is a requirement of state law, so we have to comply with that. This is also pursuant to the Wareham Home Rule Charter, Section 2-4D, 14 days before town meeting. Tuesday, April 6, 2015, commencement of actual annual town meeting, Election Day. And again, this is when town meeting technically begins, is on Election Day. That's Article 1. This is pursuant to Bylaws Division 1, Article 1, Section 1. It's the first Tuesday of April. Monday, April 27th, 2015. The general business portion of the annual town meeting starts then. The fourth Monday of April, pursuant to Bylaw Division 1, Article 1, Section 1.
That's it.
And that's it. Perhaps we can get this up online. I think that would be helpful to people, especially people who are looking to file citizens petitions, should there be any.
Okay.
Okay,
Put a copy in your stuff.
I got a copy in there.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so next, we're gonna move on and do the Lakeville Animal Shelter.
Okay, you don't want to do the audit report?
No, we'll do that last.
Fine.
You know what I mean? Let's
Go ahead.
get this out of the way. All right, so, we have an agreement dated December 15th. Remember, we all approved this a while ago. This is the final agreement.
Yeah, this is the
And-
one that Lakeville voted in.
Exactly, this is the one Lakeville voted in. It's the same as the one we voted, though.
Yes.
So
Right,
it
but we
hasn't
have to-
changed. So I move we approve the agreement between Wareham and Lakeville for use of their dog facilities.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Tropiano, second by Mrs. Whiteside. Any questions? None heard? Oh, excuse me, Peter?
Just for the public's benefit, we previously
Yeah.
voted to switch to Lakeville because they offered a significant savings for the boarding of animals as opposed to the place we're using previously. So this is just a continuation of that.
It's also a much better facility.
Yeah.
For the animals. Any other questions? None heard? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 500. Thank you.
Okay, so for the next, we'll go back to the audit to discuss the audit report.
I put this on the agenda just for the board to go through the audit report, and if they have any questions for Mr. Sullivan on it. I'd just like to make a statement again on the audit report. It was a little bland as far as how it was written, but that's just the way accountants are. Being one, I understand. The audit report really, what it tells me going through it, going back, say, 4 or 5 years ago, is that in this time frame, especially in the last couple of years, we've really taken care of a lot of deficiencies. The few deficiencies that are really left are intrinsic, mostly due to a lack of people being able to do enough work. You can only get so much done in a day with the number of bodies you have, and we're catching up. But the way they've written the report is I would expect next year's audit for 2016 to have very few, if any, deficiencies, because everything is being taken care of, everything is being worked on, there's nothing that's been ignored, there's nothing that hasn't have some actual work being done to it. So I'd like to congratulate Mr. Sullivan, our town accountant, and the people in the office, and our town finance director, et cetera, because I think in the last 6 months to 9 months, they've done a tremendous amount of work. We got our tax rate set earlier than ever. The DOR is extremely happy with us, which is the first time that I know of that's ever been that way since I've been involved with the town, and it's
30 years.
I think it just shows that everybody in place is doing their work, and it's really paying off for us. I want to thank Mr. Sullivan.
Second.
Mrs. Whiteside?
I actually called Mr. Sullivan today and congratulated him on a really very fine audit. Auditors are paid to find problems, and of course, they did find some, and some of them do have as noted in previous years. As Mr. Slavin says, most of what needs to be addressed comes down to a question of manpower or woman power. I think that is incumbent upon this board to recognize how hard the employees in the town hall and, the town work. I've spent a fair amount of time in town hall recently, and I have to tell you that it's a good crew of people that you have working for you. There are some suggestions here about adding individuals to certain departments, and in my discussions with you today, you have answered my questions about when that might take place. And there are major problems that were corrected, and one of them specifically was the health fund issue, which will be saving us a substantial amount of money. These 3 documents they're meant to be critical. That's the job of the auditors, is to point out how we can be better. I would say, again, as Mr. Slavin has said, there has been an amazing, amazing turnaround in the past year and a half, but particularly in the past several months. The auditors were here before they've been here. You know, we were waiting until July or something for last year's audit report. That's just absolutely outrageous. This is in a timely fashion, means that all of the work is being done in a timely fashion. And I want to congratulate you and your staff, because it is clearly a team effort that has brought us this far. And I congratulate you on it.
Any comment from anybody else on the board? Go ahead.
All right, so, see, I don't find these things very fun to read or very nice to read at all. They never really say enough as far as I'm concerned. They never give you enough input or enough leadership. They do a lot of work. They know a lot more about the insides of these things, but they never seem to want to put their name on the bottom line. And they always point out a few things that are the obvious, the way I see it in most of the reports, are the obvious. And I think you just from my conversation with the town administrator over the course of the last couple of years, I know that he already knows what those things are, and he's been working diligently on them to get them resolved. The fact that we have a financial director and somebody to help out is amazing, and it works. But I don't find these things very valuable in a lot of cases. I mean, sure, they, you know, if there was something really glaring, it would say what it is, but I think we all should know what it is just by looking at it, just by reading, or just by watching what we're doing here. I think we all are paying attention, and we all notice that kind of stuff. So, to me, I wish they would give us more when they do these things. A little more in the idea of direction, things that they've learned in other communities that are valuable to them, you know, that work and stuff, but they don't. They always just won't put their name on that line.
They can't do that.
You know,
It's not in the,
I understand it's not in the scope, but it should be in the scope. That's what I'm
They
saying.
can't give us advice.
I'm saying it should be in the scope, and if we asked them to put it in the scope, it would be in the scope. But this would be more valuable to me if it had that kind of input in it.
It
than
has
the simple
recommendations
thing
in
that
it.
we read all the time, and I've seen these things over the years a million times, obviously. And they just don't do enough for me, and so I love the report, I guess. You're doing a fine job, and I can't say enough about it. I mean, as far as what your leadership has shown, as far as the problems that we did have, sort of getting down to the nitty-gritty. But again, the report isn't good for me.
Mr. Holmes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the only member of the Board of Selectmen who was here 5 years ago, and I'm looking at our town council sitting down there, Mr. Bowen was here as well. I can tell you, I mean, it's always easy to find things that are wrong, right? We complain about this today, and we complain about that today. But I think you have to take some history into perspective when you look at this stuff. And I can remember Rich, the night we sat here in that circus. You remember that? And, you know, as somebody who takes this stuff pretty serious, I mean, I had sleepless nights. I was sitting in Alan's chair back then, and the town administrator was sitting here. Rich wasn't at the table, and we had that list of 83 or 76, remember that, whatever it was, and it was all accomplished, and then we found out from Powers and Sullivan that none of it was accomplished, pretty much. Mr. Sullivan, I think, he might have been around here as an intern at that time, you remember?
He was an intern.
You were an intern around that period of time. So, and that's 5 years ago. I mean, I'm not talking about 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I'm talking about 5 years ago. So when you think about the progress that this board has made, the school board has made, Mr. Sullivan has made, it's really incredible to turn an organization around that much in terms of finance. I know we don't have a lot of money, right? That's not the point of this report. The point of the report is, how do you handle the money? How do you spend the money? How do you account for the money, right, in that process? And, believe it or not, I'll throw this out there, but we were not even verifying cash.
I know.
Remember? There was no verification. So I do want to commend you and your team. I think the board could take a little pat on its back as well, because when we hit a road about 2 years ago and we needed new leadership, we went with Mr. Sullivan. And everybody was here then, including Mr. Bowen. And I just want to say for the record that we took a lot of heat for picking you. We took a lot of heat for the money that we decided to pay you. And I just want to let people know that those votes were good votes, and good for the town of Wareham. So congratulations to you and your team. But I also want to congratulate my board members as well, because they had the foresight to see your future in this town of Wareham. So kudos to all of you, I think, collectively, and the school board as well. I still would like to see a CFO. You know that. So we have one person who looks at everything, and not you, but somebody in the finance arena. But we'll deal with that when the time comes. So good job, and I think that if people just take 5 minutes and think about the story I just told, where we were just 5 years ago when I started here, they'll see it's a remarkable change. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? We're done?
Okay. Next up, any other business not reasonably anticipated 48 hours prior to the posting of the meeting? Mr. Titlebaum.
None.
Ms. White.
What are we doing about the phone? My phone's blowing up here. What are we doing about this email problem?
Mr. Underhill's working on it. It's a problem with the server integrity. It's been a problem for a day and a half now.
Yeah, I mean, I just
He's working on
I just reconnected to that account,
it.
and man, I
It's
got
not
another 1,000 every time I clean it out. 10 minutes later, I got another 1,000 emails
Send Matt a note that you're getting them still. I'm not anymore.
in there. Oh, you stopped? What time?
Actually, I stopped about 4 or 5 days ago when
Oh
I told him.
I'm getting them all today.
Let him
Yeah,
know.
there
They're
was a
from
virus.
the 30th.
There was a virus in somebody's computer. that
One of the
got into
finance
it.
committee members had a virus, and they opened up and they loaded it back into the system.
All right.
You may have to change your password.
Okay.
Speak to Matt and take care of it.
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
No information got out though, right?
No,
We're
No.
sure there.
So seeing none,
Nothing.
next,
No, we're just getting spammed to
just
death,
getting
basically.
spammed to death.
next up, town administrator's report.
Thank you. I will start off, it's sort of the strange time, and thanking the board for taking the time to actually examine the management letter, the basic financials. It's important for us to get feedback from the policymakers and that they understand what's going on. Most important has been we have department heads, especially in the finance, that are what you'd call working department heads. They've got their hands in there and they're making sure that all the work's being done. So Mr. Foster, Ms. Lazan, and all their staff, I appreciate all their hard work, because they're the ones that make this work and have really helped make that turnaround what it is. We still have work to do. Obviously, I would love to someday see some sort of audit that doesn't have any sort of finding. I've heard they're called a unicorn, but yeah, there are a few things that we know that are findings that we've been trying to work on, such as even automating some of the sick leave absences, automating them, and we have issues, but as we start moving on with the contracts and bringing them all in line, that's obviously easier. When you have 11 different contracts where there's 11 different ways people receive things and dates, it's not always easy to automate those, but we're working with some of the interns as well to try and see if we can get programs written for those. So I appreciate everybody's support on this, and again, putting down the groundwork and allowing the work to be done and to clean it out. So thank you all very much for that.
Thank you.
The other item that I have for tonight is we've gone through with the LED light project that we had for the buildings. We'd put a little over, from town meeting, I believe, a little over $103,000 aside. The total cost of the project, and wait for me to get through it before anybody says anything. Total cost of the project was $259,500, and we'll round up to $37,000, of which we received $185,085 in incentives back from them. So the total cost of the project was $74,452. World Energy did a great job in working with us and changing the lights, bringing them, making sure they were what we had necessary. The savings are gross annual savings are just under 1 million kilowatt hours per year. This also allows us to continue to work on a few more buildings to try and clear those out. We're also working with NSTAR as a partner. If you remember, in the fall town meeting, we received $50,000 in order to do streetlights and to upgrade them instead of just fixing them to LED. So we're working with them. That's not going to be a fast process. I want everybody to know. We want to get the bid specs out on there, make sure and go through with it. But with the incentives and World Energy still working with us with NSTAR, I think we can really make that money pay back for the town. So I appreciate how the hard work. We're going to continue to do some of the other buildings, especially, I would say, ones that we're currently still using, such as Hammond. We've got a lease in there, and the electricity is costing us a bundle. So let's use the money for that, save some more money, and trying to reduce our liabilities in there and some of the other buildings. So, and I appreciate this was a town meeting vote to appropriate that money, so I appreciate the residents working with us to try and save some money. So, thank you.
We also, with the solar project, because the utilities have bounced up the rates by 20 and 30%, which most people don't realize, that we're able to, because we've locked in certain numbers and certain percentages, the savings that we thought we had, that we were really concerned about, we thought we were kind of tight against it. It's turned out to actually end up as a much better benefit overall. So our overall savings there is that we're able to use all our credits and everything as well. So everything is really falling in place for us.
Yeah, it was interesting. The rising rates allowed us to end up saving more money to be able to do these projects. So
sometimes you fall into it, as I say.
That was well worth the pursuit.
It ended up that way, but it was a
long road.
It was a long, difficult road. 2 months ago, I would have shot myself.
Yeah. Well, thank you all, and that's and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
next up, liaison reports, Mr. Titlebaum. Have you been liaising?
No.
Yeah, but not with anyone in town.
No.
Mrs. Whiteside.
Yes, I spoke about attending the school committee budget presentations. I will be there tomorrow night when they give the final budget numbers out. Also have been working with the trustees of the library, town administrator, trying to get some programs and some innovative funding for the library. And I just want to give this warning to everybody in the United States of America and anybody who flies. Do not ever use the Miami International Airport because you will miss your flight. It is the worst airport I have ever been in any country in the world, period.
Did you enjoy the customs going back in?
So that was.
Yeah, you got to go in, you got to go back and forth, and you have to carry your own bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Just fill out the form wrong, see what happens to you.
Mr. Holmes? No? I'm all set. It was holiday.
We had a meeting with WCTV with some of the trustees, again, to talk about the location of where they plan to move. They want to basically stay where they are for a little while because they haven't got anything dialed in yet. They've got 3 different alternatives that they talked about. We'll give more information on once they decide what they actually want to do. So the move of WCTV is still kind of on hold. That's all I have for today.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Second.
We have anything on the consent agenda? No?
Nope.
Okay. Any other questions? None heard. All in favor?
Aye.
500. Good night, Wareham.